making a coil pot, first set up your workspace. You'll also need something to scratch up your clay and a little bit of water. The first step is to take some of your clay and make whatever shape you want the base to be. So in my example, mine's going to just be a circle. So I'm going to throw it down to kind of turn it into a pancake, and then squish it with the heel of my hand to make sure that it's all the same thickness and flat. Roll to the edges to kind of get rid of some of the cracks and to tighten the clay up. Now I'm going to take a chunk of clay and start to roll it between my hands to make a snake. Once it's beyond the width of my hands, I'm going to start rolling it on the table. I'm going to try to not use my fingers so much at first, and I want it to stretch out evenly. Once it gets a little bit too big for my hand, I'm going to start to move to two hands. At this point, I am going to start to use my fingers a little bit more because it's getting skinnier, and I want to make sure that it's stretching out evenly in both directions. My snake is even and it's long enough to fit all the way around my base, so my next step is to take a tool and scratch up the areas where the two pieces of clay are going to touch. So I'm going to scratch up my base and also scratch up one side of the snake. Next, I'm going to grab a bottle of water. I'm going to put a little bit on one of my scratched surfaces. The water is going to act like glue. Now I'm going to put my two scratched surfaces together and then trim my snake where the two ends should meet. Now I'm going to gently push my snake and my base together so that I make sure they're attached. And I'm going to use that water to smooth out the cracks that might have happened in my snake when I wrapped it around, and also to make sure that my snake and my base are attached really well. I'm going to move my project out of the way and roll another snake exactly the same way I did it before. Something that might save you a little bit of time is if you roll all your snakes at once, and then you can do all the building at the same time. But you don't want to try to save snakes from one day to the next, so don't make too many that you aren't going to be able to use them all. I'm going to scratch up the surfaces that are going to touch. So now it's my bottom snake and then my new snake that I just rolled. Grab my water, put water on one of the scratched surfaces, and then attach my two scratched surfaces together, pushing down to make sure that they're stuck. I'm going to trim my end and then push my two pieces together as much as I can without changing the shape of the clay, and then use the moisture of my water to smooth out the pieces. Now that it's a little more stable, I can actually pick it up to smooth it out, and I can see that some of my scratch marks have peeked through, so I'm going to smooth those out using the water between both the pieces, kind of push them together to make sure there's no air bubbles. Don't forget to check the inside and make sure the inside is all smoothed out also. And then my last step is to write my name on the bottom, even if I'm just putting it in a bag, because I want to make sure that everyone knows that it's mine. So if I'm not done, I'm going to put it in a bag and put it on the shelf. And if I am completely done and I want it to dry, I'm going to ask Miss Van where to put it so that she will put it in the kiln.